What's up everyone, Maki here with another topic video. Apparently Blizzard is kind of retroacting some stuff that they've said about the whole custom games thing and things that they've done, and their poor design choices, of course, have ended up influencing a situation where they're going to start banning people for AFK farming. Now, if you don't know anything about this, Overwatch basically implemented custom games, which is actually pretty cool. It has a server browser and everything like that, and so you're able to kind of play any game mode that you possibly want with your friends, and the coolest thing about it is you're able to still earn XP and level up through the kind of system that they already had in place for normal matchmaking games. Now, I don't know if there's like a ratio change or anything like that. I haven't really looked into it, but it's still a cool feature nonetheless, and I kind of like custom games, and I like that you're able to do that. However, people have been abusing the system in order to kind of AFK in games, so they end up setting it so that you don't get kicked from the game if you're AFK, and then they just sit there and AFK in the lobby and get free XP for having the match last a certain amount of time and just ending, which for me, personally, I think this is sort of an oversight by Blizzard, and I think it's 110% Blizzard's fault, and their kind of actions on sort of saying that they're going to start kind of taking action against players that end up doing this, sort of a ham-fisted way of saying, we screwed up, and we're not allowed to say that we screwed up, and so we're instead going to punish the players for it. And I think it's very, very lazy by Blizzard. Now, obviously, I'll talk about that a little bit later, but first, let's actually go into the details. So basically, Overwatch implemented these custom games, and you can end up setting a bunch of different various options. One of them is to make it so there's no AFK timers, and I believe that this is actually a good thing overall, because basically, you don't want to be playing with your friends and then have you just randomly get kicked out of a match. I mean, there's even been times where the server will end up being screwed up. I was in a match with my friend one time, and we were just sitting there, and I was killing people and setting up traps and things like that as Junkrat and everything, and then just randomly it's like, you're AFK, you're going to get kicked from the game if you don't end up moving. And I'm like, what? And I'm like running around, I just get 3 kills. I'm like, what is going on? And they just randomly kicked me from the match. So the AFK timers in Overwatch, I've never been a fan of. Now, I understand why they're there. It's so that people don't AFK and ruin your match, and I think that's a good thing. However, they're not actually implemented in custom games. I believe there's an option to enable them, but for the most part, they're not really implemented the same way they are in matchmaking, which seems to be an oversight by Blizzard, because now they're actually going to ban people for being AFK rather than just kicking them from matches. Now, there's 2 solutions to this problem, and I would say, for one, make it so that basically the AFK timers are either going to be on no matter what, which seems to be the obvious approach that they might end up taking or are going to take in the future, or to end up making it so that maybe people who AFK don't get XP and items and stuff, like maybe they can't level up when they're AFK in a match. That seems like the easiest solution that would actually make sense, make it so that, you know, everyone else can still play. And let's say you're playing with a few of your buddies and you're just playing custom match, like, oh, sorry, I gotta go to the bathroom, you know what? And then he doesn't get kicked from the game. However, he doesn't earn XP. I don't think anybody would complain if that was the way that it ended up working. It's like, oh yeah, well, I wasn't actually playing, so maybe I just don't get XP for not playing the game. That's kind of how it makes sense. Now, a lot of people are defending this whole move, saying that kind of AFKing for XP and everything is just a morally bad thing to do, which I disagree with strongly. And the reasons are for the simple fact that AFK lobbies are not always a bad thing, and Blizzard has allowed this through their systems. They made it so that you can AFK in a game and earn XP. That is 110% their fault for doing so. And they could have easily implemented other systems, such as the AFK timers that are already in the game, to end up preventing this if they were concerned about it. And they're like, oh, well, we didn't think players would take advantage of it. And really? Because every single thing that you could ever make exploitable in a video game is going to get exploited by somebody, and saying that you're going to outright ban people for it is pretty dang inconsiderate of how the entire market ends up working. Now, the main problem with this is they haven't actually announced this in-game. This was only announced through a forum post. Now, if they ended up making a notification when you go to custom games and it's like, hey, AFK lobbies are bannable, then that would be perfectly fine by me. Still kind of lazy by Blizzard, which is just how Blizzard likes to do things. They are kind of a lazy company in a lot of ways when it comes to community guideline sort of things. If you want to disagree with that, go for it in the comments. But this is just, it's ridiculous, because they end up starting banning people, which they said they're going to start doing in this forum post that I'm speaking of. Then that means that people are in-game that are going to be the majority of their players that may not actually end up knowing about this, could end up just getting banned out of nowhere and being like, what is going on? Why did I get banned? Because AFK lobbies have never really been something that's been kind of globally seen as bad. It's just one of those things that you could do. And there's actually games that actually promote it, such as right now, I'm actually playing Monster Super League in the background because I'm farming for some new thing. I'm AFK farming, and the game actually has an entire system for auto running. There's also MMOs, such as Phantasy Star universe, when I ended up playing that, there was things called AFK buff parties, where basically everyone was AFK and allowing people to kind of buff up, like level up their buffs, because you had to use them to level them up and everything like that. And so we'd end up just chilling in these lobbies, and it became like a chat room, and we just like chill out and hang out with everyone, and it was a really, really cool experience. And so not everyone has this idea of like, oh, it's cheating for XP, because in reality, it's not cheating if it's allowed within the game. And so it's not necessarily going to be one of those things where people are going to look at it and be like, oh, well, that's bad, I shouldn't do that. It might be some, you know, some people might look at it and be like, oh, well, that seems like cheating, so I'm not going to do it. But for the most part, I don't think people are. And I don't think most people have the idea that this sort of AFK farming isn't a bad thing. You can end up looking at games like CSGO or TF2 for this sort of thing. These AFK parties are huge, and there's lots of people that do them. Lots of legitimate players as well. People that don't even know that it's sort of considered not a good thing to end up doing, which I personally don't even care if you AFK farm. If you want to spend your time in a game and just AFK, that's fine by me. I don't care either way. And I think that Blizzard is kind of being jerks about this, because you have to think about why they're doing this. Why are they doing this? Is it because people are earning XP and boosting their level? I don't think so. I think it's mostly because it actually affects their bottom line. The reason they end up kind of caring about this so much is because they sell loot boxes. They sell these items that are actually going to be, you know, their cash shop item. It's how they earn money. And so when people are just AFKing for these for free instead of actually playing the game, which, spoiler alert, Blizzard, they're in your game, which means they care, which means they're actually still playing your game. If you AFK in a game long enough, you're probably going to be like, I kind of want to play this game. It also makes it so that your random loot box system, which is an absolute BS system, that is going to end up having people rolling for more. They're going to be like, oh, well, I didn't get that skin from AFKing. Maybe I'll just end up buying a few boxes. You know how the market works, Blizzard? Oh, wait, no, you don't, because you don't actually make other games that have this system. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm kind of bashing on Blizzard here, because I think this is an absolutely ridiculous move. And I think that a lot of other people do as well. Now, obviously, Blizzard is not going to go to the sort of social extremes where if you're ever in a party, you're going to get banned from it. They just said it is a risk that you will get banned. And I have a feeling from the community reaction, they might not end up actually banning people until they end up fixing the problem. And so if people start circumventing the problems, such as, like, let's say they implement things like the AFK timers, and then they end up making a system to where players could end up circumventing that, so like they could have like macros and things like that to kind of get around it, then that's when I understand that, you know what, sure, they can ban people for it, because they made systems in place that would end up making it so that, you know, you're not supposed to do it, and they made it obvious that you're not supposed to do that. And then using certain like external programs or external pathways or whatever to kind of circumvent it is obviously going to be a bad thing, because that in itself is a bad thing. And so that would make sense if they started banning people for that. Now, if they start banning people right off the gate, and some people have claimed they already have started banning people, which I don't necessarily know if that's true, because the forum post only said they were looking into it and were going to start doing it, not that they are doing it. And so some of these people might be overspeaking. They might have been banned for other reasons. We don't necessarily know. They could be banning people already, and that is super lame if they are. But for the most part, I think it's one of those situations where as long as they're not banning people without making the fixes first, they need to focus on fixing the problem that they created in the first place. They're kind of easy oversight as well. Like, I don't understand how they didn't see this kind of coming in the future and be like, oh, well, people are going to do this because, yes, of course they're going to do that. It's free cosmetics. People want cosmetics. And that is a thing that people are going to end up stretching an extra mile for. They're going to be like, hey, I can just AFK for this extra box. That's cool. I'll give my extra roll for this thing. Like, I don't necessarily see where they saw that and then be like, oh, people are going to do that. And I think it's really, really scummy that they care so much about it. They're actually going out and being rather aggressive about the whole situation as well. To where they're like, yeah, we're going to start banning people. Like, I think that that is pretty lame in a lot of senses. And it's just because they had an oversight. Now, they easily could have been like, hey, you know what, we're going to implement AFK timers, and it could have been a super easy fix, and they could have never said anything about it, and it would have been perfectly fine, and no one ever would have been, like, complaining about it in any sense of the form. And there are a lot of people defending Blizzard as well. There are people who are like, oh, well, Blizzard is a company, and AFK farming is terrible and everything like that. And obviously, I disagree with that, because basically, it's a video game. Play it however you want. If you want to sit there and AFK in it, that's fine by me. If you want to sit there and play, you know, endless arcade matches, that's also fine by me. I don't care how you play it, and I don't necessarily think Blizzard should necessarily care. However, Blizzard has been known in the past. Also, we beat that final boss thing, which is cool. Everything explodes. Nice cutscene. I like this cutscene. Anyways, yeah, so I don't think Blizzard should care either because they're still playing their game, even if they are AFK or whatever. It's the only reason they care is because they sell those loot boxes. And I think that it's complete BS that they're looking at banning people before they're actually looking at fixing the problem first. And so hopefully they're not banning people. Hopefully the people that said they have gotten banned for it are just kind of overspeaking or they got banned for something else, because I think that would be absolutely ridiculous. And I think it's one of those things that they need to say in game when you're looking for custom games. If they're going to start punishing people for it, then they need to say it in game or make it obvious that you're not supposed to do that. So, yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Michael with a topic video talking about how Blizzard is banning people for AFK farming in custom games, which... I obviously don't agree with it, and I think that Blizzard needs to look at other solutions first. You know, the whole drastic action first and then kind of clean up afterwards is a terrible way to go about it, and I hope that nobody ended up losing their Overwatch multiplayer experience because of this random sort of thing that they never actually explained in game. It would be ridiculous, and maybe they have since I've actually made this video, but this also kind of goes into play that I didn't see it when I logged into Overwatch, and so therefore while I'm making this video there was still time that people could have ended up going into these parties. Now I personally won't be AFK farming because I don't care really. So I'll just be, you know, playing the game normally, because if I'm logged into the game, I'm going to be playing it. I don't play Overwatch all that much anymore. I've kind of fallen off of it. But anyways, the game in the background has been Phantasy Star Online 2. There was a special event boss going on, so I thought I may as well jump into that and give some interesting footage. That was an awesome little boss fight they implemented quite a while ago, actually. But it's a really, really fun boss fight and everything. So there you go. I'm sorry I died a lot. I was focusing on talking. So, yeah, that's how that goes. Also, if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this one. You can also check out my impressions, reviews. The recent one I did was Ori and the Blind Forest, which is a fantastic platformer that is actually fairly hardcore and has Metrovania elements and stuff like that. It's actually really, really good, and I end up recommending it, so go ahead and check that one out. You can also check out my whole new Let's Play series, which I'm doing, and you can also end up checking out other topic videos that I end up doing these on the reg as well. I'm kind of figuring out how I'm going to end up scheduling this with the Let's Play stuff, and so I might either be releasing videos every other day or every day. I don't know how I'm going to figure it out. I think I'm just going to release videos if I have them, so expect a topic or Let's Play video every single day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Also, in the comments, I always forget to say this because I'm just terrible at it because I'm just like trying to get through the outro. Go ahead and leave your thoughts in the comments as well. Do you think that this AFK farming thing is a good thing, or do you think it's a bad thing? Like I said, I don't care how you play your game. If it's allowed in game, go for it. I don't care either way. And it is just cosmetics. It's not like they're paying to win or anything like that. It's not like they're in a game that gives like massive XP or something like that for just AFKing. And then like, let's say it was like a competitive MMO or something like that. Like, it's not one of those situations to where it's literally giving some people an advantage. And then again, everybody could AFK and then it would actually promote them not playing. It's very strange. But you get the same amount of XP, or maybe not as much for custom games. I don't necessarily know how the scale works, but you end up getting XP either way, so I don't know. So there's no like benefit to AFKing over actually playing the game. I don't know. It's a very confusing topic because I'm the type of person that says play however you want, but not everyone feels that way, and some people feel very strongly against it, especially when you end up going on the forums and looking at all the posts about it, and especially some of the articles I was reading about this, because I actually didn't know about it until today. They were just so aggressive against it. And I'm like, oh, wow. Like, I didn't realize that people hated it so much, even though it literally affects absolutely no one. So, yeah, except for the people AFK. I guess it affects them. And Blizzard apparently thinks it affects their bottom line. So, there we go. Anyways, I'm going to stop blabbering. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next video. And please check out my Let's Play stuff. Nobody's watching it. It makes me sad.